We are at Aalara. I'm with Jason Mons, the CEO of SNS Worldwide. Jason, welcome to Australia. It's your first ever visit, right?
Yeah, first time in Australia.
What do you think so far?
It's been fantastic. Beautiful place, beautiful weather, and the parks are incredible.
So, what parks have you visited?
So went to Warner Brothers movie park yesterday.
Yeah, awesome. Obviously, we got a couple of attractions there. Green Lantern,
Right.
is an El Loco,
Yep, an El Loco ride from SNS.
and then also the Batwing Spaceshot as well.
Batwing Spaceshot. Yep.
And then, what did you think of the park as a whole?
Park was amazing. On par, I think, with many American parks for the theming. Was blown away by the theming for the new Kansas Twister ride. The queue line walking through the house. Some of those other elements were just, they probably spent as much money on the queuing and on the theming as they did on the ride.
Yeah, we're very spoiled here from a theming standard from all of our parks, which is we're extremely fortunate about. Tell us a bit about what you do at SNS Worldwide.
So with SNS, I'm the CEO. That means that I'm over all of the day-to-day as well as strategic planning for the company. Have a number of fantastic employees that report to me. SNS is a company of just under 100 employees. We manufacture, we design all of our own rides and components in-house. We do outsource our track and our structure, but everything comes together at the factory whenever possible for final assembly and then shipment to the parks.
Wow, so you do everything yourselves essentially in-house?
Yes.
Is there a strategic decision behind doing that?
No, some of the other companies are integrated the same way we are. Some of the other companies are more just a design house, and then they outsource all the manufacturing beyond the company itself. So it's not uncommon, but it's also not common for somebody to be as integrated as we are.
So tell us about some of the newer attractions from SNS Worldwide. Like, what's your latest, greatest coaster that you have?
Right. So if I go back year by year, the most recent released item that we have is called our Rail Rider. It's a single rail roller coaster. In 2002, if you're familiar, SNS purchased Aero and the Aero assets. One of the rides that Aero had in its archives was a steeplechase. And a number of years ago, we tried to redo that steeplechase, resurrect that steeplechase, heard from a few parks that it was something they were interested in. But from a capacity perspective, it just wasn't enough compared to new rides. So we kind of put that aside for a few years. And then coming out of COVID, we decided that if we took the steeplechase concept on the single ride or single rail with exposed vehicles, but we trained it together, we could have a really fun, family-friendly single rail train ride. Now, there are a couple of other single rail rides that have come out recently. Intamin's got one, of course, RMC. But both of those are a lot more extreme than what we're trying to do. We're targeting specifically a family-friendly ride that is still exposed, that is still fun for all ages, but unique in what it does.
Yeah, I think there's a picture of one just behind you, which is absolutely brilliant.
So, ironically, this is one that we actually built and installed at our own factory.
Wow.
So we don't generally do that. If we're prototyping something, oftentimes we'll prototype a concept. Oftentimes we'll make it as basic as possible. But this is one that is ready to be picked up and dropped into a park anywhere in the world. It's designed to all codes. It's fully painted. It's fully themed. It's ready to go anywhere in the world.
That's amazing. I know a couple of parks here on the Gold Coast that could use one of those. I'm sure you've probably chatted with them. What is your sort of favorite type of attraction to ride? And then what is your favorite type of attraction to be involved in the process of delivering to a park?
Well, so my favorite attraction from SNS is whatever we're working on at the moment. I get really excited by the creativity of our engineers and our design team. I really enjoy watching that process and the iteration that we go through to take something from a concept all the way through to a completed product. Very seldom is it something that we start with is where we end up. There's a lot of iterations that take place along that path. For me personally, as a rider, I thoroughly enjoy airtime. I enjoy inversions, but I don't need to be upside down for the entirety of the ride. I think there's a balance point between inversion and comfort.
Yes.
And a number of rides that go upside down, you're hanging in the seats and the restraints and is very uncomfortable. So a good inversion for me is something that happens quickly. Maybe you experience some float, but you're not hanging upside down. Our Max Force ride, for instance, in Six Flags, just outside of Chicago, Six Flags Great America, has the highest or the fastest inversion in the world. It's a corkscrew off of a launch coaster.
Wow.
And that is a remarkable experience. Oh, it's right there on the camera right now.
Yep.
That's a remarkable experience to go upside down that fast and still be planted in the back of your seat.
Are you still surprised and amazed at when your engineers come to you with, hey, we've got this idea? Do you look at that and just go, how did you come up with that?
Yes and no. Again, sometimes an engineer will come up with something completely on their own, but oftentimes it's a collaborative community opportunity. As a matter of fact, at SNS, we do what we call a think-a-thon, and we encourage all of our employees to participate, and our employees come up with ideas. Our second most recent ride that we came up with, the Access Coaster, we launched that just before COVID. It's been a little bit of a victim of COVID. It's been really slow to pick up traction, but it is something that we have sold a few of and garnered a lot of interest. That concept came from a think-a-thon, and one of our employees brought that to our attention and said, we should do this. We're known for spin. We've done a number of the Aero fourth dimensions. We have a number of our 4D free spins out there in the world, and this is doing that same thing, but instead of spinning in a rolling or a somersaulting situation, you're spinning on a lateral spin side to side. So it's an amazing ride, but it is something that started with somebody at SNS who had an idea, and it kind of developed from there as we move forward with it.
That's amazing. Where's SNS worldwide in 5 years' time? Where do you see them?
Oh, that's a good question. Obviously, our key thing is creativity. We want to develop new rides. We want to push rides that are not just extreme but fun. SNS has pivoted a lot lately. In the last few years, we're definitely focused more and more on family opportunities. Our family inverted coaster, our FIC at Dutch Wonderland, and now the Rail Rider are rides that are truly developed from the ground up to be family friendly. A lot of rides that are family friendly are just kind of an afterthought. You take a big ride, you tone it down a little bit, and you call it a family ride. But these rides were developed from the ground up to be family friendly, meaning, for instance, in our FIC, both our FIC and our Rail Rider, we take into consideration where a little kid might be sitting. Are they within reach of a parent? Can a parent reach over and calm them down if the kid gets nervous on the ride? Those are the types of things by family friendly that we're talking about at SNS. We're definitely pushing in that direction to make rides a lot more attainable or a lot more accessible to the whole family. There's nothing worse than going to a park and seeing mom and dad sitting on a bench while the kids are riding the ride, or grandpa and grandma sitting on the bench while the rest of the family's riding a ride. We want a ride that grandpa and grandma can ride as well.
Yeah, I'm a father of a 5 and a 2-year-old, and encourage them to get on rides is tricky at the best of times. But that being able to reach across and have that comfort, I think, is really, really important. Where do you see the theme park and amusement industry in 5 years' time?
A lot of the same direction. A lot of our customers are coming back to us. They want family-friendly rides. They want to be able to make sure that everybody coming through the gates of the park are taken care of through the rides. Now, in addition to that, a lot of technology is going into rides, but with technology comes cost, and parks are really struggling with that. Do we raise the gate price? Do we increase our cost to be able to afford these newer rides? So there's a balance between getting the technology that's needed, but not increasing the cost too much, and not adding technology just for the sake of technology.
Yeah, it's a really interesting sort of balancing act, isn't it? Finding that balance between both. If you could add one attraction, doesn't necessarily have to be your own, but it can be your own, to our parks here on the Gold Coast, what would you put in?
Well, I obviously have to start with an SNS ride.
Yes, that's okay.
We talked about the Access Coaster. We've talked about the Rail Rider. I think the Rail Rider would be a great fit for a lot of the parks down here. The parks here definitely have a more family-friendly perspective. I think that those are great opportunities to encourage more family participation. And at the same time, they're a low-cost rider. The Rail Rider is a low-cost ride. The Access Coaster is a little bit more just because of the extremes that the ride offers. Another ride that we've had a lot of success with in the last few years is a resurgence of our swing rides.
Okay.
We invented those swings 20 years ago, the air swing.
Yeah.
Same air technology that we use on our 200 plus towers around the world, but in a different application. They're amazing. Hershey Park installed one just last year. It won one of the top 10 rides in America for last year, actually beating out all other flat rides. It was the only flat ride that was in the top 10 rides of the year.
Wow.
And then our local park, actually, Lagoon, just down the street from our factory, just finished their installation of another 40-seat ride. And they did a great job theming that ride.
Is that with the giant nutcracker?
The giant nutcracker, you've heard of it, yeah.
I've seen it. I saw it just before walking in, actually.
Yeah. It's a really strange name, but once you understand, they put it next to a Bavarian beer garden in the park, so it actually has
Makes
a continuity
good.
to the theming, and they did an incredible job on the theming. It looks really, really good, and really, really happy to be part of that ride with them.
It's funny you mention that because we don't really have anything like that sort of similar attraction here on any of our Gold Coast parks. So that'll be great to see. Jason Mons, the CEO of SNS Worldwide, thank you so much for joining me here at Aalara. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time.